Welcome back to the channel. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin price and crypto best case and worst case scenarios. Now I've got a couple of points to go through for today's video. Major altcoins breaking down. Sometimes this gives an early warning signal towards what's happening with Bitcoin, especially with altcoins that have been leading the charge. Things like Luna and Nia, which we're going to take a look at in today as well. Altcoin patterns, that's the pattern I'm looking for there. And then of course, look at the daily and the weekly, recapping on the last few days that we looked at with some of the analysis on Bitcoin and investors getting trapped in their positions. If you haven't already, do that good thing before you even watch the video. Click that like button, easy, free way to help out the channel. And you can always click dislike later on. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe as well. I assume most of you have, as in these times in the markets, when it's very quiet, it's usually all of you good regular viewers tuning in again. All right, so Bitcoin price, you can see what's happened here. We ran up to 48 and now we've come back down. Let's throw on some of the indicators and drawing tools here. The video I did from a couple of days ago, looking at where Bitcoin investors got trapped, reason being, just a short-term recap, is looking at the psychology of the market. We had the breakout of the tops at around $44,000 to $45,000. That's this area here. Now, this was the huge excitement that came into the market, as much as we can muster together in this bearish period. And basically, late entrants probably got trapped into the market as it broke down from the support level here on the 1st of April. And then also we saw the market continue down. So what tends to happen is we get a little bit of a reversal. People will sell out because they just don't want to lose any more. And then that forces the market to keep going down, which is exactly what we covered those few days ago. And then we've seen that happen again. From this point, I'm looking for a best case scenarios if we start to hold out at these levels. You can see we had a close here on the 8th. Market ran up, back down. Today's data is going to be critical. I think we need to hold above $42,000 at this point, based on what we've seen with the data over the last few days, where the market was held up back in early to mid-March. It was also around that $42,000. And that was a critical level for the market over the last couple of months. You can see we had a little bounce and then the market tanked through that level. There was a lot of volatility going through that price point. So I think we need to see that come back into the market for Bitcoin for it to at least retest this underside of 44,000. Now, of course, that could be a failure. And I've just got a little drawing on here to show what might happen over the next few days and then come back to test the 50%. I think that's probably like a short-term best case scenario for a 1 to 2 weeks in the bearish sense. If we are from this point and all of a sudden I post the video up and the market basically just tanks to $40,500, then of course all of this has just happened in a matter of hours rather than over the course of a few weeks, which is kind of like that slow bleed out. So getting that movement to the 45, if it's quick and then a quick reversal, that's a good sign. Even though you get some price action to the downside early on, if you get that quick reversal, that's a good sign to see, because we're just washing out the sellers, washing out the stops, and then getting that market to push back to the more bullish side, which is at this stage for the short term around that $42,000. So if we can get that, then I hope we can get back above the 44K and then climb our way again to test the 48. So that's looking at it from a short-term point of view. The last area that I've got here for a hold using 50% of the current range from low to high is at $40,600. Now, the other thing I've got on the chart is support at 36 to 38.5, because that is the 50% levels. That are some bottoms as well. And so if the market does come into this level, you wouldn't want to see it churn around here. This would be a worst case scenario, as the buyers would probably get a little bit frustrated, and then you'd start to see the sell out and then these lows taken out, because we didn't really push high enough for this market to come back and sit in this zone comfortably. I think this is going to be a pretty negative area for the market. So the best case scenario for if we do hang out in 36 to 38 is if we just hold out in this area for an extended period of time. That's the best case scenario I can see if we get back into this zone. The worst case, of course, is if we head into that zone and then drop lower to 34,000, take out these lows, take out these next lows, and test lower prices. So my area that I have drawn through here is basically where the market ran up really quick through December of 2020. So this is for Bitcoin. And halfway through that point is about $24,000. The lows are 28 and about 29,000. So that's where those lows were for January and then also in June and July. No, I did not say that the market must go to 24,000. There's always a few people that think that, but no, I didn't say it had to. I'm just saying that it's somewhere in this zone between 20 and 28,000 is likely if we do break those lows. Now, the bullish side to that is hopefully it's a quick drop to that area. You know that I am still looking for another significant low, whether that low's in the 36s or the low 30s, high 20s or in the 20Ks at all. I'm still looking for a significant low in 2022. That hasn't changed. I've been saying that for probably 3.5 months now. It's on my 4-year Bitcoin cycle video, which I'll leave a link to at the end of this video. And if that does happen, I've just drawn in here September or August, something like that, probably July. I'm looking at around Q3 anyway. But the best case from that is if we drop into it quick and then start to bounce our way out of it quickly and then get back above these old lows. So it can go lower, but ideally we want to see it bounce back above, and even better, get back above the $34,000 to $36,000 as quick as possible. Take a look at the invert feature of TradingView. Now, if you need a TradingView account, check out the link in the description. It's $30 off there, which is essentially 1 month if you're upgrading from the free account. So using this invert scale sometimes helps to remove the biases that our brains come to see in the charts. Sometimes we only want to see the up and sometimes we only want to see the down. So if we flip the chart upside down, what do we tend to see? Now this looks like a chart that wants to go up in this case, which would mean down if we inverted it back. Now I don't think it's going to be anything significant for a long term, because overall you can see the trend is down in this case, and long term we see the trend is up on Bitcoin. But it's just to take out some of the bias that we might come to expect, thinking this market has to go in one direction. So I find it a cool little function to use. It's just down here in the cog, invert scale, and that just helps me clear my thoughts again and see the chart as a fresh chart. So that's the worst case scenario for the short term, for the macro sense. And the best case scenario was if we get a bounce off 40 to 42,000 and start to climb our way back out of these lows. Now, I'm not sure if that's going to happen because there's not much volume coming into the market to support that thesis. You don't have the buyers coming in just yet, but it is possible that we could see a little bounce from here, as we've had 2 days down with a small correction, so a small rally here, and then we had another 2 days down with a small rally, and then another day down as well. So it is possible that we're starting to slow this short-term move and get that positive move back to the upside. Another positive is that there's still 2 days to go to score yourself up to $4,100 of sign-up bonuses with Bybit. Link is in the top of the description. Use that link. You've got 2 days until the 13th of April to get those sign-up bonuses. So check those out. Now, let's check out the crypto market caps. Just looking at the altcoins, which have had absolute crushings over the last 7 days. Waves has been a big one there. That was off the back of those rumored newses and the problems between Waves and their USN, their stable coin, and then the alleged manipulation by Alameda Research. But nonetheless, you can see that a lot of these cryptos are getting crushed against their Bitcoin value. That's something I definitely want to stay away from in my portfolio, is losing Bitcoin value against my altcoin. So my altcoin is losing Bitcoin. Anyway, going on from that, looking at some of the cryptos, you need to take them case by case, because Terra Luna has obviously had a major run up, but at the moment it's had a pretty solid move to the downside. That's just for the last 7 days. Now the negative on Luna is that it's crossed back underneath its all-time high prices. So the first all-time high was at $103, then we had $104, call it 105, and then we had nearly $120. So it has come back down. The positive that we could see from this is if we get a hold up at around $80 and then start to climb its way higher. But because this next range, this macro range from around $45 to the high of 120 is a lot shorter than the previous range that was from about $4 to $104, that tends to lean on the side of buyers getting worn out of this cryptocurrency. They just weren't able to push the price as hard as they were the first time around. So just going to be on the lookout over the next weeks to months. I don't think this is a short-term hourly or daily move where it just absolutely tanks. Don't worry, I'm not fudding the Luna token here. Just looking at what the buyers have done, historically speaking, this move is massive. Then the next move, should this fall a little further, is only about half the value. So the buyers could not keep the momentum going through this move. The ETH pattern that I'm looking at here is getting higher against its Bitcoin value. So the merge is coming up into ETH 2.0. The narrative is shifting towards ETH. And so we're seeing altcoins drop against their ETH value. In this case, I'm looking at Solana against ETH. So Solana did have a nice 1.5 weeks up against its Ethereum value after being crushed for approximately 6 months. The positive that you want to see here, what you want to see for the bullish case, is a hold up at 0.03 to about 0.033. So you want to see this market hold up in this zone and start to work its way higher again. The bearish case is if this cannot hold and then it just breaks down from that 0.03. So that would mean that Ethereum is far stronger than Solana, and it just mean that the 6-month bear market between Solana and ETH would continue on until we find another low in this market as well. So that's something I'm keeping an eye on, especially while a lot of these altcoins are just sort of getting rejected at their resistance levels. You can see for Solana here, Solana against ETH, it got rejected underneath these lows at the moment. Doesn't mean it's over yet, but if it does break down, then sure, ETH is the better bet in this case. And so this is the pattern that I'm just looking at when it comes to altcoins. You can see a lot of them are breaking down again. This was Near. Near had the rumor announcements of 20% on their stable coin that's coming out on the 20th of April. So Near ran up on that news as well. 20th of April coming out, their USN coin. I think I said earlier that it was USN for the Wave stable coin, but that's USDN, whereas Near is USN. And so this is coming out and it looks like the market just took that up, lapped it up, and then rejected it. You can see the high volume. You can see the low close. So sellers came into the market and pushed it back down on that volume. The bullish case is for all of these lows to hold and the market just recover and maintain these levels from the highs of $15 to these next highs at around $18. So if it can stay in this zone of 15 to 18, then all of that buying and selling that happened in those couple of days, which was huge volume, can maintain, and then more buyers should come into the market. However, I think if it does break down from 15, and even better if it broke down from $14, then that move is over and we'd have to wait for another reaccumulation zone and a move higher. Remember, Near was one of those cryptos that I talked about in early March as a crypto to hold that would move. That just came in off the swings and it was looking reasonably strong. So that was about here at $11. And so now I think that's probably not a bad signal as a pretty good trade to go from $11 to around $18 to $19. So the best case short term for Bitcoin is holding above these levels of $42,000. Sure, people have been trapped at $44,000. I'm going to be wary to see how this market reacts to that $44,000 level. Should we get a strong rejection and then a breakdown of around 41.5, then sure, this thing is over. But if it can only be a weak rejection, then I think we're going higher and testing this zone again between 44 and 48. So that's the short-term best case scenario for Bitcoin, and we've covered the worst case scenario. For cryptos, I can see a lot of them getting rejected from higher prices. They've had fantastic runs. ETH BTC also on its test here, especially leading into the bullish narrative over the next 70, 80 days until the merge comes out in Q3. For the Ethereum upgrade, we'll see how that plays out. And it's playing very nicely into this test zone that we've had on the chart for a number of weeks, as that was previous highs, and the market coming back to test those levels again. Remember, check out the links in the description, like the video, Bybit, 2 more days to go, get you thousands of dollars of sign-up bonuses. I'll see you guys at the next video. Thanks again. Till then, have more fun to get more done.